Holy shoot. King George Russell of King's Lynn, Norfolk, first of his name, is about to get disqualified. Oh, the humanity, ladies and gents. This is just bonkers now. I don't know how to feel. That will, of course, promote my driver, Sir Lewis Hamilton, to first, top step of the podium, although they won't do the procedure again, but he will get 25 points. But your heart's got to go out to George at this point, right? As a fan of F1, on the back of that drive, now courtesy of a couple kilograms, it looks like he's about to get disqualified. So here's what's happened. Scrutineering each and every single race. After each and every single race, the FIA will select a couple of cars, usually the race winner and probably another couple, maybe second, maybe third. Anyone. Ultimately, the FIA don't have the requisite infrastructure nor resource to check every single one of the 20 cars. So they will sample check a couple, won't they? Do you know what I mean? They'll take 2 or 3, I think it's 3. Usually it will be the race winner and a couple of others, depending on what they've heard. They'll keep ears close to the ground. Maybe, I don't know, a couple of races ago, or very, very famously at this race a couple of seasons ago, Red Bull were like, all the sparks were kicking up, right, because they were running fairly low. Then in that case, they hear that information, they're going to sample check Red Bull. This is techie, and there's just been an announcement or a press release gone out by the FIA. I'm going to read it, thus courtesy of our mates over at Autosport. There is a technical delegates report on the back of the scrutineering of George Russell, car 63. Oh, the humanity. This just come out as of 20 minutes ago, I want to say. Here's what the delegates report says. After the race, car number 63 was weighed, and its weight was 798 kilograms, which is bang on the minimum weight required by TR Technical Regulation Article 4.1. After this, however, fuel was drained out the car and 2.8 litres of fuel were removed. Again, Ted Kravitz on his notebook has said, no, that's a lot of fuel. Normally they take like 1 litre. But remember, the car needs to weigh at a minimum of 798 kilograms even after fuel has been taken out, right? It can't weigh 798 after the fuel's come out. So like take out fuel, sorry, here's what I mean by this. Take out the fuel and if the car weighs less than 798 kilograms, instant disqualification. And that's what I fear is going to happen. Again, this is breaking news and the story's developing in real time. Ted Kravitz on the notebook is talking to people still. This is to say that he hasn't yet been disqualified, but this is normally, per Albert Fabrega, this is normally very black and white. If you are 1 cent, if you are a gram under 798 kilograms, even after they've taken out their fuel, in this case 2.8 litres, a lot of fuel in this instance. But if they take out the 2.8 litres and then George Russell's car weighs 797.9 kilograms, disqualification. That car, after whatever they're going to remove, needs to weigh 798 kilograms. And unless Mercedes and Toto Wolff can put in a valid protest, put in a reason as to why George Russell's car is underweight after fuel, 200 or 2.8 litres worth that they're taking, then George Russell is looking at a disqualification. Oh, the humanity. Let me finish reading out this technical delegates report. 2.8 litres worth of fuel was removed. The car was not fully drained according to the draining procedure submitted by the team in their legality documents as Technical Regulation Article 6.52 is fulfilled. The car was weighed again on the FIA inside and outside scales, and the weight was 796.5 kilograms. Oh, the humanity. George Russell is absolutely screwed. That weight, that scale needed to say 798 kilograms or more. The calibration of the outside and inside scales was confirmed and witnessed by the competitor, being that Mercedes would have sent their own delegate to witness the calibration of the scales to make sure that there's no dodgy things at hand, no false positives or whatever they want to say. Technical delegates report continues, as this is 1.5 kilograms below the minimum weight requested in Technical Regulation Article 4.1, which also has to be respected at all times during the competition. I'm referring this matter to the stewards for their consideration. Joe Bauer, the FIA Formula One technical delegate. Oh, the humanity. This is chaos. It's looking like, after an absolute Herculean effort of a drive from one King George Russell, first of his name, Bloody Nora. Now it looks like he's going to be disqualified, and the victory of the Belgian Grand Prix is going to be handed to his teammate, one Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. Oh, and by the way, Ted Kravitz talks about 2.8 litres is a lot for them to remove normally. Normally it's protocol that they take 1 litre, but the rule stands as it is. If they remove fuel from the car and then the car is underweight, the weight limit being 798 kilograms, even if it's 797.9, still then, the FIA blanket rule, you are disqualified. And that's what George Russell is looking at, notwithstanding an absolutely brilliant drive from the fact. Tyre whisperer settings, he's on the cusp. This will be coming out as news in the next 10-15 minutes, I guarantee, unless Toto Wolff and Mercedes can put in a proper protest. Maybe the weighing scales haven't been calibrated properly. Maybe they have an excuse. But Albert Fabregat in situ said normally with these sort of things, the FIA are very black and white. Either you are 798 or more after fuel, or you're not. If you are, cool, we can crack on. You win yourself a race and 25 points therefore. If you are underweight, under the 798.0 kilogram limit, you are gonzo. And it looks like George Russell, having been scrutineered, his car is underweight. Oh, the humanity. After an absolutely fantastic drive, it's looking like it's gonzo. Done for George Russell. Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, more than likely over the next 20-30 minutes, will be announced as your race winner, 25-point setting, and that will destroy George Russell. After an absolutely Herculean drive, put some respect on his name. Check this out as well. Ted Kravitz says this, normally, ordinarily, you know, on the formation lap, you know, they cross the checkered flag and then they normally do another lap and they're told to gather up bits and bobs, right? You know, you see them going offline, going way off the track with a view to pick up rubber. This is all in the name of making that weight limit. Ted Kravitz argues that at Spa, it's different. They cross the checkered flag and then they park up. They don't necessarily have the opportunity to go away and pick up all this rubber, these marbles. You know, say they go offline and they pick up the marbles. They do this with a view to make sure that they make the weight limit, 798 kilograms in this instance. However, at Spa, they don't have the opportunity. They pass go, they take the checkered flag, and then they park up almost instantly. There is no opportunity, as there is at Austria or Hungary or any other track, to go away and pick up marbles, meaning that it's easier for them to make the weight limit of 798 kilograms. Oh, the humanity. Didn't have that here, and clearly George Russell has fallen foul of that. Plus, they were telling him to lift and coast, weren't they? Jesus Christ. Telling him to lift and coast desperately. Wanted to keep some more fuel in there with a view once again to make the 798 kilogram weight limit. He was underweight. I will read this again for the avoidance of doubt because it's techie. Don't underestimate how much... Mate, I feel so bad for George Russell. It looks like he's on the brink of being disqualified from what was a Herculean effort of a Spa Grand Prix for him. Belgian Grand Prix winner, 25 points in the bag. Now it will be scratched. On the back of the technical delegates report that says this, I will read it out once again for the avoidance of doubt. Technical delegates report released at 17:50 hours. That's CET time, right? It says, it reads thus: after the race, car number 63 was weighed and its weight was 798 kilograms directly after the race. That is the minimum weight required by Article 4.1. That's with fuel. Remember, if they take out whatever sample of fuel out of that car and that car weighs less than 798 kilograms, 99 times out of 100, barring accidents or some serious explanation from the perpetrator, that car and that driver will be disqualified if past this prologue. After this continues the technical delegates report. Fuel was drained out of the car and 2.8 litres of fuel were removed. The car was not fully drained. 2.8 litres is a lot, by the way. Ted Kravitz and Albert Fabregat, Kim Illman also agreed that 2.8 is more than usual. They've come for them. They suspected this, did the FIA. That's why they've come for them hard. After this, continues the technical delegates report, fuel was drained out the car and 2.8 litres of fuel. Their legality was removed. The car was not fully drained. Yada, yada. The legality documents, TR Article 6.5.2 is fulfilled. The car was weighed again on the FIA inside and outside scales, again to ensure for calibration, etc. And the weight was 796.5. For the avoidance of doubt, to reiterate, the car needs to weigh not a pound less than 798.0 kilograms. When they weighed it without fuel, it weighed 796.5 kilograms. The calibration out of the outside and inside scales was confirmed and witnessed by the competitor. Mercedes would have sent one of their guys down to make sure that the calibration of all the scales and everything, all the protocols and processes were met in a way that was fair and true and proper, representative of the way that scrutineering is supposed to be carried out. Delegates, the technical delegates report continues, as this is 1.5 kilograms below the minimum weight requested in TR Article 4.1, which also has to be respected at all times during the competition. I am referring, therefore, this matter to the stewards for their consideration. Per Joe Bauer, the FIA Formula One technical delegate. George Russell is gonzo, chat. Again, if it hasn't dropped already, the news will be dropping imminently. Ted Kravitz said, as per Albert Fabrega, legendary Formula One journalist, that these things tend to be black and white with the FIA. Either you're on weight or underweight, or you're going to get disqualified. Again, for the avoidance of doubt, scrutineering settings. They will sample check. The FIA don't have sufficient resources, not human or operational, to sample check each and every single car. So they will pick 3. Ordinarily, it's probably going to be the podium, definitely the winner. In this case, they've sample checked King George Russell's car, and he has been deemed to be overweight, underweight even. 796.5 without the fuel, and the weight limit needed to be 798. Oh, the humanity. George Russell's car should have been that weight or more, notwithstanding the lift and coast and all of the above, all of the aforementioned. George Russell, after an absolute Herculean drive, tyre whisper settings, converting a 2-stop to a 1-stop and making it work, holding off a charging Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, 7-time champion. Notwithstanding all of the aforementioned, Mercedes have dropped the ball, and it looks like George Russell is going to have a very famous victory, a victory for the ages, reminiscent of COTA 2021, Max Verstappen and Sir Lewis Hamilton. He's going to have that victory chalked off. Why? Because his car was underweight. 796.5 kilograms as versus the legal limit of 798.0. Oh, the humanity.